Morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to you and to everyone out there on the internet. My name is David Clement, and I will be the worship associate this morning. I'm glad that you are with us. A few things, my own take and thoughts on being a member of this congregation and this faith. So I love this congregation, and I love what our faith tradition of Unitarian Universalism stands for. There's no required system of belief, but we're guided by 7 common principles, which I think of as approaches to life, to each other, to people. And one of these is the pursuit of justice and equity and compassion for all others, but also for ourselves. And we look around our society and around our world, and we see great need of that. This congregation is welcoming, regardless of race, creed, gender expression, sexual orientation, and all of our own unique personal quirks. I'm looking at you, not me, of course. As a worldwide church, we're working towards that for all those in every society. In fact, we have a long tradition, centuries, of being agitators and misfits, subversives, rebels, independent thinkers. And I think a good marketing motto, because we're always looking for one for Unitarian Universalism, could be UUism, proudly serving as a pain in the ass for systems of oppression and dogma for 5 centuries. For me, I look at myself and why I'm a member of this congregation after so many centuries. After 5 centuries of looking, after so many years in my life of trying to find a place where I really felt like I belonged. There's a lot of things I'm a part of, organizations that I'm a member of, and I've always been one to never totally quite feel like I fit into those. I'm somebody that I think a lot of times notices the contradictions or the hypocrisies or the absurdities of different systems and organizations I'm a part of, and so I like being a part of a church that kind of inherently questions and looks at things and are critical thinkers, looking inwards to ourselves to better ourselves and not accepting the status quo. And on another personal note, for me, when I think about myself at my best and wanting to be a person of justice and equity and compassion, I look at Reverend Lynn and Revjerry as models for myself that I would like to emulate because of the way that I see them showing equity and justice and compassion in the way that they conduct themselves with people. So, with that said, my fellow misfits and troublemakers, welcome. So we have some announcements. It says 4, but Jerry kept sending me updates with more announcements, so I just blocked his number after a while. I'm not your puppet, Jerry. Can only take so much. Our next congregational meeting will take place June 12th, following the regularly scheduled Sunday service. Details regarding agenda items and online participation will be forthcoming. Any questions, please contact Sue Owen Kinsey. We are excited to have Mulucha Jay as our guest speaker today from Uganda. Reverend Lynn will be telling you more about him a bit later. On Thursday evening, the board will be voting on restructuring how this church operates. The board is asking for input before this meeting. There's an article in the newsletter from last week that explains what the purpose of these changes are. Since this does not require changing the bylaws, there will not be a congregational vote, but please give us your input. so that we're able to do the best job possible representing the will of the congregation as we look to carry this congregation forward and into the future. Tales and Tunes was held on Friday. People are still talking about it that attended. What a great time they had. Approximately 60 people, mostly UUs with some visitors, listened to revealing stories, sang along with the musicians, and took home precious items from the silent auction. I've got some work to do with woodworking. While we are still tabulating numbers, most everyone feels it was a great success. If you have yet to pay for your auction items, see Ruth Straw and check in the office for items to pick up. Information on who signed up for services or adventure items will be made available soon. Please remember that our discussion group in the book Chevy in the Hole is this Wednesday night at 6 p.m. on Zoom. You can already see that that was way more than 4 messages, but I'm not done yet. Do we have a slide up? Yes. The Jay Brewer Coffee Concert is tonight from 5 to 6, featuring Dan Garrix and Jerry Bradshaw, also known as Random Circumstance. Beverages and non-alcoholic drinks will be on sale. If you know of children in grades 3 through 8 who are looking for an excellent summer camp, make sure that their parents know about our very own music and movement camp. Our day camp happens here at the UUCF during the week of August 1st through 5th and is led by our music director, Dan Garrix. Some of the camp participants will perform for us at our August 7th service. And I think that's all of them. So with that, we will move on to our chalice lighting and covenant. Our chalice lighting words this morning are from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kampala, Uganda. We believe and trust that all people are equal in humanity. Black or white, rich or poor, gay or straight, all people are equal in humanity. Our prayer is that the government in Uganda will listen to the cry of its people. May they find wisdom and recognize the equality of humanity of all people and reject the evil ideas contained in the anti-homosexuality bill. So may it be. Amen. Covenant. That was quick. Recognizing the richness of diversity, the beauty and wonder of shared worship, and the transforming power of love and service, we gather as a sacred, intentional community to freely seek knowledge and truth, to celebrate the fullness of life, and by our actions to increase goodness and justice. And with that, we'll have our opening hymn.
Please stand if able.
Fail to know now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Blessed are the wanderers seeking affirmation. Blessed are the worshipers praying from closets, pulpits, pews, and hardship. Blessed are the lovers of leaving family and familiarity, leaving tables where love is not being served. Blessed are those who stay. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the queer, disciples of truth, living, breathing, sacred reflections of divine love.
Some people say that Jesus is the light of the world. We all can be the light of the world if we seek to act in ways that enlarge the realms of love and justice. When we share another's pain or offer a comforting ear to a friend in need, when we give bread to the hungry or support ways to house the homeless, we are the light of the world. When we fight temptations to wrongdoing within ourselves and treat our neighbors with respect, when we try to overcome differences with understanding and solve conflict with peaceful means, we are the light of the world. When we look for the good in other people and in ourselves, when we do not stay quiet in the face of prejudice, but speak our minds firmly and gently, we are the light of the world. When we fight despair within ourselves and side with hope, when we use our powers justly and in the service of love for humanity, we are the light of the world. As we sit in silence today, may we find in it a peace that we can bring back to our busy world to share with others. During our musical meditation, you'll be invited to come forward or go to the back of the sanctuary to light a candle of joy or concern. Or you can also write in one of the books back there your joy or concern, and we'll put it into our e-newsletter. But first, let us enjoy the silence. Our reading today is quotes from Invisible Scars, the mental health of queer people in Uganda. This is from Frank. I used to think that homophobic people or the state would attack me, and I would check the doors for almost 10 minutes in one night. I would sleep with lamps under my bed because I thought there were things under my bed that would harm me. I was like a child. I remember that I got a visa to travel one day, but I couldn't bring myself to travel, so I canceled.
From Jennifer, lesbian, age 29. We are all born to love different, so there's no need to make one feel less human. Well, my current doctor didn't really understand what I was trying to say, and I was trying to be discreet about it, but not because I felt ashamed. And in the end, I had to, just say it clearly. Look, my partner is female. You don't seem to be picking up on that. I'm sexually attracted to women. And so, he was a bit shocked.
This is from John, age 41. When I got to know my sister, that she was a lesbian, I stopped socializing and talking with her, and I don't let her come to be near my kids because I know she will spread her lesbians to my kids.
From Anonymous, age 21. My ex-friend told my friends I was gay after checking my phone texts during one of those crazy nights in Kampala bars, and this stopped them from going out with me anymore.
From psychiatrist Budibika National Referral Hospital. Such people need help because no one is born homosexual. They should seek help before it is too late.
From anonymous transgender woman, age 20. Since coming out as a transgender woman, I have lost nearly every friend I have ever had. Most of my family no longer speaks to me.
And from a transgender man, age 27, being around transgender people who understand me has been the single most important factor in reducing my isolation. Many transgender people are able to relate to me in ways that my healthcare providers and family members don't.
From Rebecca, bisexual woman, age 41. Being unable to construct my own identity because there were no voices I could relate to is probably one of the primary factors for my mental health struggles.
From Ben, age 27. When I came out to my psychiatrist that I was gay during one of our sessions, I did so because he kept asking me if I had a girlfriend. And when I did, he replied, "Son, the issue you are not," when I replied that I did not have a girlfriend, and he said, "Son, the issue you are not feeling well or getting well from is that homosexuality is a mental illness, but I will be able to treat you." I just stepped out.
From Anonymous. I'm not yet out of the closet, and I haven't told anyone about my sexuality. This is suffocating the life out of me.
From Anonymous, aged 26. My friends hacked my Twitter account to get to know if I was gay, and after getting to know that, they shared and preached to me in our WhatsApp group that there was still time to change. This forced me to block them.
From Anonymous. For more than 20 years, I did not think I was worthy of love. I had to suppress my sexuality for many years for obvious safety reasons. When you live in Uganda, you must. Hiding and being silent about your sexuality is how best you can live under the light.
And finally, from Anonymous. Please reach out for help. You are worthy of a good life. You deserve life and love, but you need to start with self-love.
Sia hamba kukanyan kwan ko, 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 sia hamba, sia hamba, sia hamba kukanyan kwan ko, sia hamba, sia hamba. Sia hamba kukanyan kwan ko. We are marching in the light of peace. 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 Sia hamba, sia hamba, sia hamba kukanyan kwan ko. Sia hamba, sia hamba kukanyan kwan ko. 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 Sia hamba, sia hamba, sia hamba kukanyan kwan ko. Sia hamba, sia hamba, sia hamba kukanyan kwan ko.
When I was the minister of a UU congregation in Bowling Green, Ohio, we were one of just 2 LGBTQ affirming churches in the area. We were on a very busy highway, and we flew a very large rainbow flag. But that flag was vandalized one night by a small group of teenagers. Well, that happened to bring some extensive media coverage, happened to be positive though, because they had brought the flag down, put it in our front yard, stamped on it, and burned it. So because of that media coverage, I was invited to be on the city's anti-hate campaign and chair the city's interfaith breakfasts for 2 years. Then we had more attention after I was the first minister to legally marry a same-sex couple, and ugly calls then began to pour in, as well as letters. Then a dinner with Jim Obergefell himself, the lead plaintiff in the same-sex marriage court case that made same-sex marriage legal, came. And he happened to be an alum of Bowling Green State University and was in town, and so a number of us were invited to have dinner with him. After meeting him, that helped strengthen my resolve not to be bullied by ongoing threats and comments, calls, letters. In 2017, due to my congregation's ever-increasing visibility around LGBTQ issues, I was invited to speak at a workshop for participants in the U.S. State Department's 6-week residency Mandela Washington Fellowship Program at the university. Jay was there, and Jay was in my small breakout group. Jay and I talked a little, and I ended up inviting him to come and speak to my congregation while he was in town, and afterwards a small group of us went to lunch. I learned more about Jay and what it was like to be transgender in Uganda. I also learned how he had been ostracized by his family, and it made me extremely sad, and I ended up telling him that my family had more than enough love to add another son. We have been in contact with him for the last 5 years, and we provide, I hope, some emotional support, and when we can, financial support. Each time that Jay has returned to the United States, we have arranged to visit with him. This is his 4th trip to the United States. He happened to be at a conference in Los Angeles this time, and because he has started up a shelter during COVID, which he'll tell you about, we decided, let's fly him to Michigan and try to raise money for that shelter. So we've arranged for several speaking engagements around Michigan while he's here, and to raise funds and also clothing for his organization and new shelter. Of course, we did schedule just a few hours to relax as well. He's wondering when that's going to happen, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But it's important that we pamper him a little bit because he spends pretty much 24/7 taking care of other people. So we want to take care of him and pamper him while he is here too. So I give you our adopted son, Jay.
Thank you, Ma'am. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to stand here and be in front of you today, and I'm so grateful. I am called Jay Mulucha. I'm a trans man from Uganda. People call me Jay, Uncle Jay, Papa, Afande, Bulldozer, and this is because members of my organization and shelter take me as a father and head of family because I'm the one who takes care of them. So that's a kind of respect they give to me. You may wonder why they call me Afande and Bulldozer because the rest is explanatory. Afande is like a name given to a security person in Uganda. And then Bulldozer, I don't know what that means, but you know what a bulldozer does. So they gave me those two names because sometimes I'm tough on them where they go wrong. Okay, here's a little bit about how I got to where I am and how I got to be Jay. I got to know that I was Jay when I was 7. I was 7 years old. I used to like dressing like a boy, and I really liked it. So when my mother could get me dresses for the girls, I would refuse to put them on because I wasn't comfortable in them. So I would go steal my brother's clothes and put them on because I felt comfortable in those clothes. One day, I went to my mom. I saw my brother peeing while standing. And I went to my mom and asked her, why is my brother peeing while standing? And she told me, it's because he's a boy. And I told my mom, you know what? From today onwards, I want to be a boy. And I'm a boy, and I'm going to start peeing like my brother. My mom was so furious. She told me, you know what? You're not a boy, you're a girl. It was a big argument that we had with my mom, but from that day onwards, I decided to be Jay. And I know most of you are asking what happened about the peeing. Yes, yes, it happened. I tried it, it happened, and whatever came up. Yeah, so I play basketball, and I'm a human rights advocate back in my country. In 2018, I applied for a scholarship to attend the Gay Games in Paris, France, to go and represent my country in basketball. I think these are some of the pictures when I was in France, this one down and the other one. Thank God I got the scholarship to the games. I was so excited to go because it was one of my dreams to visit Paris. I was also very excited to meet different people around the world who are in sports and they are gay. I was so happy to be part of this diverse team composed of people from different countries. It didn't hurt that I got to play on those good-looking international basketball courts, because in our country, we don't have those nice, fancy courts that are good-looking. So it was a dream come true for me to play on those courts. So I was so happy to get this scholarship and to play on such courts. And when I got the scholarship, it was a very good thing. I'm very thankful for the World Gay Games, for the scholarship. It was the best experience and made me so happy. And my team won bronze. Those are some of the medals that I scooped from us. Another dream was to come to America. That was my first country that I dreamt of coming to, because everyone in my country had been talking about coming to America. It's their dream country. And I was like, oh God, I wish one day I get to America. So once again, I got to go. When I got the scholarship to attend the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders in the US, I remember calling most of my friends and sent them the email from the fellowship to make sure I was reading it right and really was going to America, because like I couldn't believe that I had got that scholarship again to come to my dream country. So I kept on sending this email to different friends of mine to proofread, to see whether it was really saying what it was. So after sending it to my friends, they really told me, yes, it's true, you're going to the US. As a trans man, I had always wanted to be in a country where I would express myself freely and be who I want to be, with no one judging me. And to tell you the truth, it happened. I got what I wanted. The experience was so good. I expressed myself freely when I was at Bowling Green, and everything moved on well. My experience at Bowling Green was great. I met different people who we became friends up to now, and this is how I met my lovely mom, Reverend Lynn. In the interest of time, I will not go into details, but just know it's a long, lovely story. But there is no time. It was a bit hard to go home. Things were getting worse for people like me then. I can remember when it wasn't as hard. In 2015, we started celebrating the Gay Pride back home in Uganda. It was a colorful, lovely pride, and all of us were so happy and excited that day. We enjoyed and bonded and mingled and learned from each other. We planned to do this every year. But once the police in Uganda and the government came to know about our pride events, they started raiding the events and arresting some of us. Some people were seriously injured on the ride to the police stations, and some tortured in cells. From that time, Pride was suspended, but we have plans of resuming the Pride because we won't give up. I remember that night, we were celebrating and crowning Mr. and Mrs. Pride in Uganda, but it turned out to be a horrible night, because the police, once we don't know the people who tipped them off, they came to the venue. It was a 5-storied building, and we were at the last floor. So they raided the place, and it was only one entrance and one exit. We couldn't escape from them. They entered the building, and this is a place where everyone was expressing themselves freely. The trans women were all colored up in good dresses. They had their nails made up They had put artificial nails. They had their hair plaited, and some were putting on wigs. But when the police came, there was a lot of fracas because some of them were not ready to be outed. They were still in the closet. And some of them never wanted to lose their jobs. They never wanted to lose their families. So everyone was scared. When the police came, they started beating everyone. And it was a horrible moment, me seeing my fellow people trying to struggle, like the transgender women. They were pulling off their wigs and cutting their hair off, looking for kinds of sharp objects to make sure they remove what they had put on their heads. They cleaned up themselves. They tried to remove the artificial nails by pulling them out. It was so horrible and painful. And some of the people who were in the building, as I said, had not yet come out from their families. So the only way they could save themselves from being taken to prison, or because when the police came, they came with the media and they were covering everything. And they always do that and put it on television and in the newspapers. So different people were scared about all that. So they started jumping out from the windows. Remember, we were at the last floor, and people were just flying out of the windows because they never wanted to get outed. A lot of people were injured so badly. It was horrible. So one of the policemen, the rest of us were made to sit down, and they started beating us. So one of the policemen who I knew, he was an ex to my girlfriend at that time. So he had this bad thing about me. So he came and pointed at me and picked me out. And he said, "Come, I'm going with you." So I was like, "Where are you taking me?" So he took me out in a private car and made me sit in between two policemen. And he sat in front and drove off. Where he was taking me, I didn't know. So during that period of time, he started, the two men who were sitting in between me started beating me and sexually harassing me, touching my body. And whenever I talk about it, I feel so bad. I'm sorry about that. So they took me somewhere near the lake, and as we were moving towards that place, that man told me, "Just say your last prayer because you're not going to survive." So something inside me told me, "Why don't you respond to these people?" So I told them, "Whatever you're planning to do to me, just know that you're also going to be taken in, because everyone saw you taking me out. You won't escape this. Whatever you're going to do, just know you will not escape." So they drove me near the lake, and they tied my hands and my legs and my lips. So he came out and put a gun on my head. And I was so scared. So one of the men that he was with called him, and they told him, "You know what, first come and we discuss about this." So they went aside and talked to themselves, and then after, when he came back, he just put me close to the water, and they went away. Because where he put me, we have crocodiles in the water. So they just pushed me near the lake. and they walked away. But good enough, during the arrest, I had my phone and I had hidden it somewhere in my pants, so they didn't see it. And it had the location on it. So I stayed there and I was just praying. I struggled so much to pick the phone, and finally I got it. And I was just praying that someone calls me. And even if when they called, of course I couldn't speak because I was tied up, but I was just praying at least to press that yes button. And they called, but the good thing, as they were calling, they also noticed the phone had location. So they tried to trace where I was. And good enough, there was a security guard who used to guard that place. He saw me and came and untied me and asked me what was wrong. I couldn't say anything. And I just told him, please call these people and tell them where I was. So he called them, but the good thing, they were also on their way because they were trying to follow the location of the phone. That is how I survived that day. But it took me some time to get back to my senses because it was a very horrible thing. Being a trans in Uganda is not easy. Somehow we are associated with everything bad about LGBTQ plus people. We are stigmatized, arrested, tortured more than any other people in our community. As we transition, it's easy to identify us, resulting in more attacks, beatings, and denials of services such as getting medical attention. We also have trouble getting employment and are often kicked out of our families and homes and disowned and expelled from schools. And if we are in trouble, the last people we can turn to are the police. The police hunts us every now and then, and it's not safe for us. I'll tell another story. There is a time when the Parliament of Uganda tabled a sexual offences bill. That is another bill. It's different from the anti-homosexuality bill because they always try to bring out, to table all these laws that can put us down. So this was the sexual offences bill that was tabled in Parliament. So that day I was coming from school and I had plans with my partner to meet in town before we go home and do some shopping, food shopping. So when we met, we did the shopping, and as we were going back home, because we use the public means, we call them matatus, taxis, vans, they're like vans, so they are public means that we use back home. So we entered that matatu, and when we were inside, of course when we were entering there are other people there, so when we entered the van, one of the men started attacking us and saying, these are the, he said this in our local language, but I will say it in English. He said, these are the people we are looking for. They are gay people. They are the ones who spoil our kids, and it's not in our culture in Uganda. And it's against the Bible to be gay. So these are the people. So as he was speaking, he was joined by the rest who were in the van, and they started attacking us. So I told my partner, you know what, let's get out of this van, because it had not yet started moving. We were waiting for it to get full. We got out and moved. As we were moving, they started beating us, me and my partner. Again, it was another beating. And they really injured us so badly. And that's the reason why you see me putting on braces. it's because some of my teeth was dislocated and moved. So it's very difficult to use like public means, and it's also expensive to use private means in my country. So we are left to move like spies and move in the dark, and you know, it's not safe there. For all these reasons and more, Fem Alliance Uganda was formed. We are a lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer organization. It was established because the growing LGBTQ community was not adequately represented. It was badly needed as harassment increased as well as insults and discrimination. The mission for our organization is to promote human rights and restore the dignity of LGBTQ through research and advocacy, supporting personal development and combating violence. FEMA does this through strategic partnerships. We offer services like counseling, HIV testing, distribution of condoms and lubricants, and other sexual reproductive health rights services. More, okay. These are some of the pictures during the meetings that we always hold. This is one of the SRHR meetings that we always hold monthly to educate and sensitize our members about sexual reproductive health rights. You may have noticed that I don't use the letter G when I say LGBTQ. We do offer services to the gay community and the gay men, but we don't use the G for security reasons. People in Uganda don't necessarily know what the letters LGBTQ mean, but once you put in the G, they easily identify you. So that's why we always try to omit the G and use the LGBTQ. That was a transgender awareness training. If you can see, they were mostly the trans men. Yeah, you can move. Yes, now, this was a prison movement. I'm sorry. Okay. As you can see, those are police officers, but they work in the prison. So that was a court that was taking our community members to prison for the court after. No, ma'am, move. Oh, I'm sorry. There. That is the bus that was waiting for some of our community members who were arrested after the court hearing. So as you can see, they're there, and these are the people who arrested them, and they're taking them into the bus to take them to prison. Move. Yeah. That was during a court hearing where some of our members were arrested and taken to cells, and after produced in court. So the other end where the police, the prison police is, the man, is where the members are. As you can see, they are all in one dock. So that was a court hearing. And that is one of our transgender person, is a transgender man who was arrested and taken to cell. He was at the police station, and that's where that picture was taken. So those are our ugly police stations back at home. Okay, the man in blue, and there are others on the side because the picture didn't come out well. He's one of the lawyers, the human rights lawyers that always try to stand with us and defend us in court. That is me, and that was during the launch of our report on intimate partner violence back at home and the organization. That is one of the activities that we always do. It's an economic empowerment skills activity where we train our members to learn the skills on to support them in different businesses that they can come up with. That was after a wellness session for members held at Fem Alliance. So those are some of our members. Yeah. Wellness and fitness sessions. We have days where we come together and do some exercises and fitness. This helps us a lot in wellness and mental health. This was a distribution of binders to the trans men in Uganda. These binders were donated to the trans community by one of the well-wishers who stays here in the US. So it was the distribution of binders. That too. Oh, those are distribution of some SRHR materials and HIV testing. One of the meetings that we always hold at Fem Alliance, and those are some of the members. Sometimes we meet, chat, talk about different things. Those are condom distributions for some of our members, so we're picking them to go for distribution. That is a visit to some of the slum areas. Some of our members stay in the slums, so we always create time and go visit them. And we talk about different things, especially being safe and SRHR. Meeting at Fem Alliance.
Can you explain SRHR?
Sexual reproductive health rights.
Thank you.
That was a food distribution to our members, and this was done during the COVID period of time. We got some donors who gave us some funds to buy food items during COVID because that time was difficult for everyone. That was during the Transgender Day of Remembrance. As you can see, the trans community very excited, and we were celebrating that day. It was still the Transgender Day of Remembrance, and this was during, we were celebrating our trans folks and remembering them, those who were devoted and gone. So we were lighting candles for them. That is our small shelter that we have. As you can see, we have our mattresses squeezed somewhere, and that shelter accommodates 11 people. We started the shelter during the COVID period, and this was because a lot of LGBTQ people got homeless and they didn't have where to stay. We realized that we had to save lives. So Fem Alliance asked some of our supporters for rent, money to rent a house for a shelter. Since then, the need for the shelter has increased. Our space is already too small. It is a total of 2 rooms, as you can see, and we currently have 11 people living there. Those are some of the atrocities that happen back at home. On my right is a lesbian girl. She wasn't out, but somehow she was outed by friends. And when she went back home, the brothers and uncles attacked her. They beat her up and got a flat iron, put it in the electricity. It got hot and they started burning her. And that's how she got those injuries. And then the other one was attacked by the neighbors and beaten, and she ended up losing her left eye this other was attacked by borders. In Uganda, we have motorcyclists. They are small. They are always somewhere on a stage. They located them a place where to be because they transport people. So one day, when she was strolling down to buy something to eat, she was attacked and beaten badly, and that is how she ended up. So all of those people came and joined our shelter, and they are with us, but thank God they managed to recover. Right now, we are looking for some support for our shelter, and it costs about $400 per month to pay for rent and all utilities like electricity and water. And then we have to purchase food as well. Right now, one of the things we need besides money for food and rent is electronics like laptop to support our organization to keep on moving, and phones to help us run. Anyone with a used phone, it doesn't have to be new. This can help us run more efficiently. Especially the phone, we really need it, and so that we have something portable that people can use when they get into trouble, such as being arrested or attacked somewhere, because some of our members are usually attacked and they don't have any means of communicating for rescue. So we highly request for that. And that is my basketball team back at home. As I told you, I play basketball. I love basketball so much. I've played since childhood, and I received scholarships for high school and college for basketball. But my scholarship to university was terminated when I was outed in the newspapers and television as a gay person. So the university management decided to terminate my scholarship because they got to know who I am. It didn't stop me from playing this beautiful game. I came up with a queer basketball team in Uganda. Those who played in other teams played in hiding. I think basketball helped us all to improve on physical and mental health. My passion for this work comes from trying to make Africa a friendlier place for the current and future LGBTQ individuals.
And Jay just wanted me to let you know how, if you would like to contribute to Jay's organization, Fem Alliance, or to the shelter. There's a purple box back in the back. You can contribute cash. You can contribute in check form. Checks would be written out to UUCF with FEMA, F-E-M-A, in the memo line, and then we're going to turn that into cash when he goes home. Another way to contribute would be to purchase some jewelry that Jay brought, that his members made in Uganda, and he brought those here. So that would be another way to contribute. And those are right out there. And you can also go online. For those of you that are watching at home, you can go to uuflint.org, and you can push on the donation button and just make sure you give in honor of FEMA, F-E-M-A. And if you wonder how much you need, even $1, Jay says, makes a difference in his country. So anything you can give makes a huge difference. And then did you have some last things you wanted to say? Okay, so I'm going to let you finish.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my mom, Lynn, and my dad, Kerr, and my brother, Revlynn. Thank you so much for accepting to take me in as your own, and for making me happy, making sure that I'm always happy. I also thank Mom for organizing and making sure that my visit here is worth it. Thank you so much, Mom. Just know I love you so much. I also want to thank everyone who has created time to come and listen to me, thank you so, so much. Those who have supported us, and those who are going to support, and those who will continue to support us, thank you so, so much. I can't thank you more, but just know I appreciate a lot. I'm so humbled. May the Almighty Lord keep you safe and bless the work of your hands. Thank you so much.
Reverend Lynn did cover a lot of what I had to say for the time for generosity, but just as a reminder, there's a number of ways you can contribute to the causes that our congregations stand for, and specifically if you want to contribute to the causes, the efforts of Jay's program in Uganda, make sure you put that in a memo. I'm a little bit taken back, sorry. I just want to say that I'm personally honored and humbled to be a part of this service this morning, and in a small way. And I think I'm reminded of the privileges that I have, that I so often go through life and just take for granted. And I just want to say that I'm recommitted and invigorated, rededicated to use my time and energy in life to help create more justice and equity and compassion for everyone. I think I can speak for our congregation when I say that you're family, and you have our love and support, you and your fellow Ugandans.
Amen.
Our closing words are entitled Rainbow Blessing. May the drag stage rise to meet you. May the world rise to accept and embrace you. May the rainbow of love enfold you. May your fluidity never be hindered. May your pronouns always be supported and your dead name forgotten. May those you invite into your life remain loyal. May your chosen family lift you up and catch you when you need it. May you be able to catch others when they need it. May you remember sensitivity is not weakness, but instead a great strength welling up inside you. And until we meet again, may you remember that you are loved and divine.
And let us extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Please sing along. We are living beneath the great big dipper. We are washed in the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together. Some in power, some in pain. We can worship the ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom, impatient to receive a sign. I move toward with my senses open, imperfection to be my crime. In humility I will listen, we're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great big dipper. We are washed in the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship the ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, binding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering my tools together, preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, band all together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow, we're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great big dipper. We are washed in the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship the ground that we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since the beginning, and we never noticed that they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great big dipper. We are washed in the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground that we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side.